Bishop Minerva G. Carcaño was elected a bishop of the United Methodist Church at the Western Jurisdiction Conference on July 17, 2004 in San Jose, California. Her first assignment was to the Phoenix area in the Desert Southwest Conference. As the first Hispanic woman elected to the episcopacy, she felt particular joy in starting her episcopacy in the conference established by the first Hispanic male bishop elected to the episcopacy, Bishop Elias G. Galvon. As she and her family moved to Phoenix, so did Bishop Galvon and his family as he moved into his retirement. Bishop Galvon became Bishop Carcaño's mentor bishop, a relationship that continues to this very day. While serving in the Desert Southwest Conference, Bishop Carcaño focused her ministry on continuing the excellence of church planting that was part of the DNA of the conference and in strengthening its connectional programming to support local congregations. In her first year of service, she made the commitment to visit every church in the conference. She fulfilled this commitment with a spirit of deep pastoral presence. At the same time, she renewed an effort begun by Bishop Galvon called Church to Church, a partnership with the churches of the Northwest Conference of the Methodist Church of Mexico, devoted to being a bridge between the two expressions of Methodism in the U.S. and Mexico, and serving in the borderlands together. At that time, the state of Arizona was the epicenter of the immigration crisis, so she also led the conference in responding to the plight of the immigrant. Through the support of the United Methodist bishops serving on the U.S. southern border from Brownsville, Texas, to San Diego, California, she was called forth by the Council of Bishops to help organize the work of the United Methodist Church in seeking immigration reform in the U.S. While comprehensive immigration reform has not been achieved in the U.S., the work she coordinated with other bishops and primary organizations and racial ethnic plans and caucuses of the denomination has spread to working on global migration and its impact throughout the distinct regions of the world where the United Methodist Church serves. She served in the California Pacific Conference for only 4 years, from 2012 to 2016, but was able to lead the conference in addressing a significant financial crisis, reorganizing the conference in accordance with the Book of Discipline, and leading it through a strategic visioning process. As she had while in the Desert Southwest Conference, she continued serving on the board of Claremont School of Theology, serving on presidential search committees, and as chair of the CST Corporation. Her service to CST stretched out over 12 years. Assigned to the California-Nevada Conference in 2016, she immediately faced the opportunity and challenge of appointing the senior pastor of the then Glide Memorial United Methodist Church to follow the newly elected Bishop Karen Olivetta. Bishop Warner Brown stepped up to service as the interim senior pastor and was an invaluable help to Bishop Carcaño in identifying potential pastors to serve this esteemed church. Much effort was given by Bishop Carcaño and then District Superintendent Stacy Current and Senior Pastor Jay Williams in attempting to build a collaborative relationship with the Glide Foundation. Unfortunately, after decades of a growing distance between Glide and the conference and Methodism and even Christian faith, Glide expelled the California-Nevada Conference from the church premises and its ministry. A lawsuit ensued that was resolved through mediation. Bishop Carcaño's leadership brought forth a necessary separation with Glide that enabled Glide to continue its work in the San Francisco Tenderloin area while providing the conference with vital resources to strengthen its witness in the city of San Francisco. Bishop Carcaño shepherded the California Nevada Conference through the COVID pandemic while continuing to grow the conference in its leadership development, church planting, and the laying of the foundation for its strategic visioning, which was completed during her suspension by leaders she had nurtured. After her lengthy recent complaint, suspension, and trial process, she returned to the conference ready to lead it forward, picking up major projects that had been set aside in her absence, particularly in the areas of the new church planting, the strengthening of racial ethnic leadership, and with the partnership of conference lay leader Michelle Pope, continuing to foster a conference culture of clergy and lay partnership working together. Bishop Carcaño has been a caring pastoral presence, a strong spiritual leader, and a voice for the full inclusion of all people. A prophetic voice committed to ecumenical and interfaith leadership in the areas where she has served. She retires after 48 years of active service as a clergy person in the United Methodist Church. Throughout these years, she has served as a pastor, a chaplain, a seminary program director, and adjunct faculty member, and also a leader organizing pastor of an ecumenical parish, a district superintendent in 2 different conferences, and a bishop and 3 annual conferences, all leading to service in 7 states, 2 jurisdictions, and with clergy standing in 3 different Protestant denominations. Bishop Carcaño began her connectional service in the United Methodist Church at the age of 16. Since then, serving on the general boards of Global Ministry, Church and Society, the Commissions on Ecumenical and Interreligious Concerns and Religion and Race, the board of the Publishing House, and the General Council on Finance and Administration. She served on the General Conference Committee charged with updating our disciplinary section that defines our theological task. The General Conference also charged her with leading a study commission that examined the relationship between the United Methodist Church and the autonomous Methodist churches of Latin America and the Caribbean in order to define our work together into the future. She served on the General Conference Connectional Process Team, charged with studying the organizational structure of the denomination, with a focus on living into the global nature of the church with integrity and authenticity. She was chair of the CPT's writing team. She served as an officer of the Standing Committee on Central Conference Matters, and she also served on the board of Africa University and the advisory body of Encounter with Christ. In addition to being a public voice for immigrant rights and the rights of LGBTQ+ persons, she is a respected leader in the work of the West Southwest Industrial Areas Foundation, a long-standing community organizing effort based on partnerships among communities of faith and civic organizations committed to building power for social change. She also most recently served on the board of the California Endowment, a $4 billion foundation whose mission is to promote health equity for all Californians, regardless of their immigration status. A board where she served in several leadership positions, including being elected the board chair. Bishop Carcaño moves into retirement, having touched the lives of many people. She credits strong women in her life for helping her respond to her call to ordain ministry, including her mother, Rebecca, the Reverend Nan Grissom Self, and Dr. Janine Audrey Powers. Her greatest love in ministry has been the children and young people she has met along the way, and from whom she has given her life that they may know Christ and live in a transformed world by Christ's mercy and abundant love. Thank you, Bishop Carcaño, for your 48 years of service to the ministry, to following Christ. May your retirement be filled with more joy, more ministry, and more connections. Thank you.
Good evening and happy Sunday, church. Before I speak, I'd like to invite all of our young adults and youth. If you guys can make your way forward, I want you guys to stand right behind me. So as we wait for our youth and young adults to come up, Bishop, I'd like to say thank you for recognizing the young people at our conference. And I know this is the first step in the inclusion of our young adults and our youth. We talk about diversity, and we have the diversity ethnically wise, but I think it's time to have diversity generational wise too. And this is what I spoke about, Bishop, is the youth and young adult delegation has grown in the past 3 years. And the reason being is because of our clergy, our cabinet, but most importantly, you, Bishop. And we want to say, all of us here, we all support you. And it's important that we instill the part that we call us Methodists united. If you see the diversity behind us, you see the age groups, but not just the age groups, but the ethnic groups too. From our English-speaking congregations to our Hispanic congregations, to our Pacific Islander congregations, our African-American congregations, and every ethnic congregation that we have here, it's important that we teach our young ones that together we stand, divided we fall. And it's important because God created us all in his image. And I hope that you keep our pastor with us. Because when my family came to our church, the youth was still growing and the young adult program was still growing. And as we got there, our pastor's vision is the young people, to implement us and to help us be a part of the church. And he's allowed our young people to be in the finance team, on the church council, on the board of trustees. And I think it's important that we have our clergy like that too. And I know our clergy, they will work towards that, because if they can see right now, there's people, there's kids, there's young adults back here that want to be part of the church. They want to do something, but they feel like they don't have a voice, or they feel like their skills and their talents aren't being recognized. I think it's time that our clergy and our laity, they kind of ask their young people, do you want to serve? Because it's important that if they serve right now, it keeps a lot of these young ones off the streets. I remember growing up, I went to high school, in a high school called Long Beach, Jordan. I grew up with different people from different ethnic groups. And I know a lot of my friends from high school, they're either in jail, or they already had kids, or they're lost already. I feel like it's important that we have our young people be a part of our congregations and be more included, so that we all can stand together and we can all do the work that we were all born to do, which is to bring the kingdom of God, not just into our church, but into our communities, into the world. And I leave with the verse, Matthew chapter 18, verse 20, where 2 or more are gathered, he is in our midst. And I believe there's more than 2 of us gathered here together. So I'd like to say thank you all. Thank you, Bishop. Our young people, we stand behind you. And I pray that we have more young people in the conferences that we have ahead. Mawafa Lahiatu. We love you, Bishop. Thank you.